sitting there talking about should we sign it, should we not? And there's a big hesitation of signing the Declaration of Independence. Somebody yells, God has given America to be free.
And it is under lockdown. No one can get in.
No one can get in. The doors are locked. Okay? There are guards all around. Somebody yells that. Everybody jumps up at once. Starts signing the Declaration of Independence. Okay? Great.
That's
cool.
Nuts.
We'll give this guy a speech afterwards. This is where it gets tricky. Guy's gone.
How'd he get out?
He couldn't have. Again, doors were sealed shut to keep British from coming in. Hello and welcome back to Gently Buzzed. As always, I'm Wayne.
And I'm Chase.
And here at Gently Buzzed, it's not just about being mildly inebriated on TV. It's about...
just a little.
Just a little. It's also about being mildly informed.
Mildly
so
informed.
Stay tuned because we've got...
Well, that's the thing I want to stress, okay? People, and this is... I never got this either, but people... This is why Joe Rogan says never read the comments. Because, like, I appreciate all your comments, by the way. But we're not experts. At all. I had money.
Is there a way we could do this one live? Sorry to interrupt.
No.
No? Okay.
The computer's biffed.
All right. Continue.
But we're no experts. We are people who had money to buy a camera and microphones. That's the internet. We're not... Wayne, are we experts?
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
Matter of fact, I work as a CNA currently.
Yeah, and I fix
Weirdly,
machines.
right?
I fix machines.
I used to, but, COVID laid me off.
Yeah. Thanks, COVID. You've been really helpful to all of us.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And I get it. Like, when we say mildly informed, we mean mildly informed.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I wanted to stress that with my fancy, what am I going to call it? What are they called?
The fancy Woodies.
Woodies. Thank you. Gosh. Told you, just a little inebriated.
And as always, every episode is brought to you by Woody's Sunglasses.
That's right.
They're the greatest.
What up, Corey?
Thank you, Corey Stout. You were the man. Captain.
But yeah, I wore these today because we're talking about time travel and shit. And it made me think, because Back to the Future popped up on my Netflix.
Did it?
And it has the scene where Doc, he has those, it's like 2015, remember, in their flying cars. And he has those glasses that look like this, but they're really big.
Roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Yeah, and he puts it down. And I'm like, that looks just like these, but like, I guess they got one thing right about 2015.
Right. Well, before we get into all that, the reason I bring up our jobs is, people are calling us liars and all this other stuff on the comments, which thank you again for the comments.
I'm like, chill, bro.
We'll call you out later. But what do we have to gain from this?
Nothing.
What do we have to gain from lying to you about this? We don't. We don't even make money doing this yet.
Yeah.
This is straight up just...
us fucking talking.
Yeah, and trying to tell the world kind of interesting stuff, and if you don't like it, yeah.
Eat it.
Go watch Slightly Buzzed. If you don't like it, go watch Slightly Buzzed. Where they literally just drink and talk about drinking and is no way controversial.
There you go. But...
Tag them in the comments.
You started a feud.
I told you. We are also today going to make history as the first ever podcast feud. Okay?
We're coming at you
slightly buzzed. You guys might have the fun, cool drinking talks about alcohol, which, I find enjoyable, but
yeah,
can't keep up with this.
Well, and that we were talking about time travel because now everyone knows the classic time travel stuff. Like, remember, it was some funeral, like a big funeral with black and white pictures, like 50s or 60s, and there's a guy in the background wearing like a smiley shirt. And it has like a weird jacket.
Oh, the time-traveling hipster.
Yeah. And
you can Google that, the time-traveling hipster.
Yeah, and it looks like he's got like a camera phone and shit like that. They go, no one else has a phone or doing anything because they're all like grieving and they don't have... That didn't exist, by the way.
No, he's also wearing Ray-Bans.
BTW.
He's wearing Ray-Bans, a hoodie, a smiley face t-shirt.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so everyone knows the classic ones, but the one you told me about our family...
I believe it was the funeral of JFK.
Was it JFK?
I believe so. Look it up. Look it up real quick. You have the laptop?
I have the internet.
See, we don't make money with this. We only have one laptop. I made this desk.
Yeah. Welcome to the show. Time traveling hipster. Bingo bango. That's the picture.
That's time traveling hipster.
It's
wearing Ray-Bans and everything.
Yes. It says 1941. Holy crap.
Okay, it couldn't have been JFK then.
Yeah, I was like, I thought it was the 60s too. See? We're not experts. Mildly informed.
Mildly informed.
We have the internet.
We have one laptop.
But explain to them what you told me about the founding fathers one, which could be
the founding fathers one.
The time travel one. That could be huge.
Okay. Well, all the founding fathers, for those of you who don't know who are watching Canada, America takes its patriotism pretty seriously, And these guys were the real deal, okay? These guys were sitting there in a room in England because it wasn't yet America. And all the founding fathers were sitting there trying to sign the Declaration of Independence.
They were signing it over here in the United States.
This is before we came here.
You said July 4th, 1776. We were already here.
We were already here, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Where we were
Philadelphia.
writing about in order to secede from the Union.
Yeah.
So they're the Declaration of Independence.
Correct.
And they're all like, I don't know if I should do this. We're all going to be killed,
Well, that's the thing. That was something,
They would have been killed, yeah.
I was like, why would they be killed? Because it's considered treason.
Well, back then, 40 or 50 was probably like, as old as you get.
Yeah, they're like, we're already pushing the limits.
Man, I'm 25. I can't keep this up anymore.
Dude, I'm looking that up.
I only got 3 years later left.
How old were the founding fathers?
But they had doors locked, right? They had everything. They had guards outside the doors, making sure that no redcoats were coming. Thank you, Paul Revere. And they were sitting there talking about, should we sign it, should we not? And there's a big hesitation of signing the Declaration of Independence. Somebody yells, God has given America to be free.
And it is under lockdown. No one can get in.
No one can get in. The doors are locked. Okay? There are guards all around. Somebody yells that. Everybody jumps up at once. Starts signing the Declaration of Independence. Okay? Great.
That's
cool.
Nuts.
We'll give this guy a speech afterwards. This is where it gets tricky. Guy's gone.
How'd he get out?
He couldn't have. Again, doors were sealed shut to keep British from coming in.
Boom. Imagine now. That's a common question with time travel too. What would you do if you had time travel? We'll get back to that. I looked it up. So the average age.
I would drink a Samuel Adams with Samuel Adams.
You're like, dude, they have a beer after you. It's like,
hey, you're Samuel Adams?
Sir.
So is this.
Sir.
By George.
Well, it says they were 40
I would keep Columbus from giving syphilis to the free world. That's what I would do with time travel.
Well, I'm saving you.
I would go back and be in Elvis's hotel room to see if he actually died or not. There's big theory out there saying Elvis is still alive.
So you would go back, right?
Oh,
so
definitely I would go back.
So it doesn't baffle me that so if I'm that guy, if I'm the dude who screams, okay, I go, God gave America to be free, right? If that was me, I would probably just have been the guy who was sitting up there like watching history in front of me, being quiet. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And then I see them hesitate, and they're not doing what I was taught in history class of like being strong people and just signing right away. They're like, we don't know. I'd be pissed. I'd be like, God gave America to be free. And then I'd go, shit. Like, I'd be like, uh-oh. And then I'm like, I got to get out of here.
I would give Teddy Roosevelt Woody's sunglasses.
Be like, sir?
You want to be the greatest man ever? Who was shot twice, by the way. Attempted assassination while giving a speech. Said, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm going to continue my speech. That is why he's, in my opinion, the greatest president that ever lived. Was shot twice.
Yep.
Says, in the chest. He was shot in the chest. It wasn't they winged him. It was shot in the chest twice during his speech and says,
wasn't one out in the street
well, we
too?
got that out of the way.
Wasn't it on the street?
Yeah.
He was walking to his car?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. He just says, you know what? Now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to finish. He was a bad dude, man. What? First president to have a tattoo also.
That's... Yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from.
Dude rode a moose.
I've just never actually cared. But let me get back to this one.
Then go watch Slightly Buzzed.
Okay, so listen, so all of my elders, my parents, my grandparents, everybody was older, okay, than the founding fathers. They're younger than 40. They were all younger than 40. It said estimated to be over a dozen of them were 35 or younger. They were young as fuck, dude. I hope to be that ballsy at 35 years old to do something, not commit treason, government. I'm not saying I'm going to commit treason. I'm just saying, like, the cojones on these dudes to do that, especially at their age. I imagine them being old guys who can barely talk through their stuff. I've lived through life. I know what goes on.
Yeah. You know what I picture?
You guys weren't even halfway there.
You know what I picture?
What?
I picture them making dad noises. Hey, you know? Yeah, like you ever see like when you're like anyone's dad like lean forward? I picture them doing that. But no, they were in their 30s and 40s.
That's insane.
That is crazy.
And that was something else. How would they have? That was 1776. It's 2020. Now, how on earth would you? I couldn't write something even 10 years from now. I couldn't imagine, even if I practiced every single day, and I had a group of people working with me to make a big document, whether it was a business deal or a big thing, something of high value.
Yeah.
I still would have flaws I'd have to revisit later. But you believe what you want, but it's held up for hundreds of years. Like, it just recently became issues that people started to attack it now, right? Mm-hmm. And again, I don't care. It's worked this far. Like, right. Don't fuck with it. Like, I get you have amendments, and it is hard, but it's supposed to be hard because that's part of why the document's so good.
It is.
So,
but if you think about it this way, would America exist without time travel if that story is true? It's hardly ever mentioned in text. I mean, we brought up Barron Trump's time travel conspiracy. But what if, hear me out, what if?
I'm listening.
What if America was built on time travel?
It would, imagine if that information became true and came out. You know how we'd lose our shit.
Well, I mean, the government already started doing experiments with that.
What?
In the Montauk Project.
Yes.
With the USS Eldridge. You ever heard of it? Open a book.
Or no, I thought it was in the Philadelphia. Is that the
Philadelphia experiment, the
Gotcha.
Manhattan or the Montauk Project?
Gotcha.
Nantucket. Well,
like I said,
whoever the hell the project, you know.
Can I have that Franklin ball?
You sure can.
But I just want to have it in my hand. But that was something else too. We talked about that previously. I'm pretty sure it was in an episode. But you didn't. We just found out that. Well, you can explain the experiment, and then I'll finish with my sentence.
Okay.
But apparently, they traveled at a distance or through time. They traveled somewhere. This ship.
They traveled from. Hold on. They traveled from Philadelphia to Norfolk, Virginia.
Whoa.
And they weren't trying to travel through time. That's what people get mad. They accidentally did it.
So I bet they were trying to go faster.
No, they were. Legend had not legend, but people have claimed, and eyewitness encounters claimed that Einstein was helping the Navy out with an experiment after his grand unified field theory shout out was massively accepted in the scientific community. Mm-hmm. They said, hey, we could use this grand unified field theory to make a battleship invisible to radar.
Oh.
We could make it invisible to everything. No more U-boats.
Yep.
No more which were submarines before there were submarines. No more submarines.
Yep.
No more missiles. Nobody can see us. And that's what they're trying to do.
Oh, they were trying to create a field around the boat.
They were trying to create a field that would distort and bend energy and light.
Which essentially would be bending time.
Which they didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. So they thought they were
Hard
trying
way to find out.
What they did was they degaussed the ship. Degaussing it, they take large cables, wrap it around the whole of the ship, hook it up to radar and everything else, and they start sending these high voltage charges in a certain particular pattern. Mm-hmm. And then Einstein was like, well, let me help you with that,
Right.
Let me help you with that. I don't know how Einstein taught this.
Well, and then I also looked that up, too, when we were talking about it. They also, to back that up, they took that theory, and then they took
Nikola Tesla.
Tesla's stuff, too.
Yeah.
So they combined two of the smartest dudes.
Tesla literally claimed to have time travel before he died. Those were his dying words, not, my proceeds go to the wife and kids. Nothing like that. He said, I have time travel here. Look at my journals. use this research. And they're like, oh, he's senile. He doesn't know.
Yeah,
what
he's senile. They said, "Where's that book?"
Somebody, can we get that book?
They said, "Where's the book? Where is it?"
Yeah.
Oh, my nightstand drawer.
It's okay. He's just pooping himself. You know, Tesla has these episodes every now and again. No, he said, I have time travel. Not.
You're like,
This is my dying wish. I see a light. You know, be kind to each other. He said, I have time travel.
Right.
It's right here.
Well, and
It
that's
can't get more literal than that.
Well, and that was the thing. It was that also came from Bob Lazar was talking with Joe Rogan. He said when you're able to create that gravitational like field around you,
Yeah.
everything that you come to know in your everyday life goes away. Like light bends around it, waves bend around it. You're creating it's like Earth has the gravitational field around it.
Yeah.
Make it smaller and you can control it. So all of that stuff just like goes and just bends around it, which means that you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And so now this was something that confused me, like because they talk about it with like a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, we saw it over here, then we saw it over there, and then saw it back over here. I don't know if they're traveling that fast, or it's just because our human perception looks that way.
I can explain that.
Go ahead, you scientist.
All right, I'm not a scientist. I just read. Okay, so the goal was in order to create a field around them to bend light and energy to make them invisible to U-boats.
Yep.
What happened was they accidentally, instead of just bending light, they bent everything around it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so they bent space and time probably, but at least space. They went through.
They were gone.
They were gone. They disappeared. Nobody knows
They
where
were
they were.
gone.
Little blip on the radar, gone. And they're like, they must be hella invisible now. You know, nobody saw them for a while. Nobody saw them until. Sorry about that.
Bingo.
Nobody saw them until the SS Andrew Farusith with a sailor by the name of Carlos Allende.
Oh.
Carlos Allende was just sitting there on his boat with his homies, probably drinking a beer, you know, hanging out with Corey Stout, doing his thing. Shout out to you, Captain of Woodies. He's just sitting there having a beer, you know, watching the sunrise. I imagine he's more of a Matthew McConaughey type. You know, he's just chilling on his boat.
On the beach.
Nobody knows who Andrew Farusith is, but that's the name of the boat. Horrible name for a boat, by the way.
Boo.
I'm sure it was a great reference of the time.
I would have chosen
isn't
Ship
now.
Happens, man.
Ship Happens is great. It's perfect. Right, put that on a t-shirt. But anyway, so he's just sitting there minding his own business, you know, doing the Matthew McConaughey thing, a line of coke, not showering, hanging out with chicks, getting drunk, doing his McConaughey thing. And then he just sees this giant USS Eldridge specifically show up.
It's like a
naval
giant
destroyer.
ass Navy destroyer.
It is a
boat.
naval destroyer cannon class, which is like the biggest freaking thing they had at the time.
Just goes, boop.
It's more of a barge and a small continent than it is a boat.
Yeah, legit, it's huge.
He just sees one just out of nowhere. Bam, there it is. He goes, like, we're out here in the middle of the ocean. Like, it's just us.
You're like, how'd you get here? I would have seen your boat.
Where did
coming.
you come from? It can't go underwater.
Yeah.
The upper deck is open. It's not a submarine. It's big as life.
You would see it going like, oh, there's a boat coming this way.
Obviously, there's a very slow-moving, large boat, big as life, coming towards me.
And it just shows
It
up.
will probably be here within several hours. No. He hears a splash of water. Then there's just, bam, the USS Eldridge. Now, when he goes aboard, he starts investigating it, right? He sees that it's a naval ship, sends the information to the Navy. And they're like, we don't know about it. We don't know what you're talking about. Well, then a fellow by the name of Jacques T. Valley goes there, right?
I was going to say, shocker, the government tried to cover it up.
The captain says, we never saw anything weird happen in Pennsylvania or Virginia. I'm like, no, you didn't. You saw weird shit happen in other dimensions, so you're not lying under oath. That's the loophole right there. So they accidentally created a wormhole. They travel through time. Carlos Allende sees this random giant boat the size of Hawaii just out of the woodwork. Just bam, there it is.
Yeah.
Members of the boat, and some photos taken, which we can post here.
Yeah.
Members of the crew of the USS Eldridge were fused into the ship's hull, meaning the metal structure underneath it and the framework of this thing, the bones of the boat,
Well,
had
in a moment, they
passengers
weren't. They were there, then they
in
weren't.
it. They were there and then they weren't. Not all of them made it. Okay, so several different people aboard the ship never returned. They disappeared. I'm assuming they were stuck in another dimension. I don't know. Nobody knows. They're just like, well, sent alert to his wife and kids. We don't know what happened. But you just went from one state to another. There's no enemies out right now.
Yeah, like there's no war. Like nothing's
How
going
many
on
others
right now.
disappeared? One guy? You probably killed him. What, like 50 or so?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't a coup. It wasn't even enough time on sea to have a coup. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Like,
it was
imagine,
200 miles.
Well, a lot of it was like,
I believe it was 200 to 300 mile travel. How can you even form a coup? How could anybody just disappear?
like this. That's
Other
insane.
members on the boats were checked into mental hospitals, claiming that they were turning invisible and then phasing in and out for a while.
Probably.
Okay.
They probably messed it up. They
Others
probably were just like,
others just lost their minds and they had to be instituted.
well, I guarantee you the people who thought of the idea were not on the boat. They were like, well, let's just see what happens. Maybe we'll become invisible. They probably didn't understand any of the other stuff.
No.
So they probably
didn't.
Then they probably went, oh, we fucked up. They said, we messed up. But
So Jacques T. Valley writes a book in 1994. Telling people about-
94?
1994.
Do you have the title of that?
You can find it.
No, what was it called? Is it called probably just called the Philadelphia Project?
I believe Montauk Project.
Montauk Project?
Hold on real quick. I know it's in there somewhere. I'm getting to a point. There is a meaning behind this.
Oh, you're fine. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, have you not seen Nazi zombies on Black Ops? Call of Duty? Like, they did it back then, too. It was a big thing back in that time.
Okay. Edward Dudgeon.
Edward Dudgeon.
Dudgeon.
Mm-hmm.
He was a naval electrician. He wasn't aboard the Eldridge, but he was aboard another ship. His job was to keep up with all the different ships, right? Specifically, the USS Eldridge. He wasn't on the boat. Okay. He was the guy.
Shocker.
He was the guy. He was the nerd at the laptop, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Just sitting there going, "You guys okay? They got radar here. There's a single to your left.
Yeah. That
You know? What's your vector?"
That is so,
Okay.
You got so many good characters in you, dude.
Right. So what is it? He claims that he was an electrician, viewing the Eldridge and making sure that all their equipment was working. That was probably his job. Again, why would he lie about this? He gains nothing. If anything, this would discredit. There's no money in in the Montauk Project, which nobody knew existed at the time.
Right.
So Jacques Valley writes this book, claiming anybody with information come forward. Edward Dudgeon claims that Einstein's unified field theory was coupled with the Eldridge's radar system in an attempt to degas. They were trying to make it invisible, and he was one of the ones
Obviously,
watching.
it didn't work.
No, he was trying to see if it was gonna disappear on radar, and it did.
Well,
It disappeared.
actually, it did disappear. Correction. It did work, but it also did other things they did not anticipate.
It did. So he comes forward, and it's been verified that that's who he actually was. He's a
Also,
real person.
I thought about this just now. If the people who are fused into the ship, if you're a part of the ship, they can't just cut you out.
No.
So they probably just killed him. They're like, sorry, dude. And they just, and that's where they went. And the other ones got crazy. They put them, that's the best thing. Okay, we're going to discredit them. They went crazy because of, they could make up some project.
They traveled 200 miles on a ship. They obviously went nuts.
Or some kind of other,
Come
there's a
on.
sickness. They were out at sea for too long. Well, I mean, you can go on for days. But either way, that's now a fact. Like that's a thing that happens. All that stuff is bended around traveling through time when you manipulate gravity in that time, which is also why when
Were
you
they
talk
floating around though? If were they able to bend gravity, would they have no longer been static, or would they become static instead of dynamic? Would they be moving around and floating?
I think
right?
I think it was.
Or was it instantaneous? Were they
Instantaneous.
You think it was instantaneous?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, like, so this was something I was talking about, which it has a religious Christianity spin on it, but it still works because it's science. So I was asking, at this time I was talking to my pastor, and my grandpa died, and I was really young, and I'm like, will I see him in heaven? And my pastor kind of went like, because my pastor when I was growing up, he loved science and taking God and combining it with science and going like, it just helped validate what we were talking about?
Yeah.
So, and he had a whole bookshelf with just stuff. And one of them was talking about the difference in time. So, in heaven, for example, yeah. Oh, sorry, that was hard. So, in heaven, technically there's no time, right? Time doesn't exist. It's not relevant. Time's only existent for us.
Right.
Or if you want to take it outside of heaven, the universe. None of that, other than on Earth, time doesn't really matter to anybody else.
Well, you know what Einstein came up with, right?
What?
He came up with time doesn't exist.
Right.
He claims that because it is changing every time you check it, it is no longer a quantifiable field.
Yeah, well, it's
you
kind
can
of
no longer
like,
determine its values because it is ever changing.
and so that was the thing. It was like, well, technically, so at the moment, so it compared to like the coming of Jesus. So when everyone, like the rapture, everyone goes up in heaven, we all go to heaven together, right? He goes, you're going to get there the same time your grandfather got there. Because time doesn't matter when you go faster than like the speed of light. So when you hit, like when they hit the speed of light in like Star Wars and Star Trek, and they just,
Whoa.
they time warp.
What do you call it? Hyper.
Like
hyper
your
speed.
body,
Yeah.
your body, like your
You
body
see the
can't,
stars coming.
you dematerialize. Your body
Exactly.
fades away. So the only thing left is anything outside of that realm, which is like we're talking about time and space. So like all of that doesn't matter anymore. So to them, it was probably a blip, like a second. But to us, it could have been like hours. I don't know how long the dates are, how long it took them to get there. But to them, they were on a boat, regular, did the experiment. Now I'm fusing the ship. Where did I go? Was I in that dimension for a couple days, but it felt like a couple minutes to me? That's you won't know that until you talk to them, but they're in a crazy asylum and they probably got killed.
What gets me curious is why would the passengers dematerialize, but the rest of the ship is fine?
Well, that's the thing.
If the whole
Everything
ship
would.
couldn't
Matter
contain enough structural integrity to go through a wormhole, as it were, why do the engines run perfectly? Engines are a very complex machine. They're very delicate, If anything was thrown off except for the passengers.
Right, and that's not...
You're
right.
I mean?
I didn't... I probably...
How would the ship be still moving?
I would say I forgot to specify. Everything. Anything matter? It doesn't, matter parts away. Any kind of matter. So,
Right.
sorry, Star Wars and Star Trek, all that stuff probably will not happen in our lifetime or to humans. So, sorry. Hate to burst your bubble. And it's that same reason. And so, if anything, I guess my whole thought is trying to come around the fact that, time was different for them like it is for us. Yes, you technically did do your job. You became invisible. But the thing is, did you become invisible because you created a gravitational field around you, like UFOs, for example, in the Bob Lazar interview? The UFOs can't be seen, and they're going sporadic because they created a gravitational field. They're still in it, but it's like the ball. They're in the middle. You just can't see it because you're bending everything around it. Is it that? That was my question for you. Is it that? Is that more likely? Or is it the other one, that it was dimensional, that an infinite dimension, whatever that theory is that has a bunch of different layers of dimensions, did they just travel to the one next to us and then pop out back into ours? I'm trying to gather which one's which.
I think I can explain that. What the goal was to do this, yeah?
Right, cover it, yeah.
But what actually happened was, off camera,
Hey!
Mulligan.
Cut that out. A little brief pause. Oh, you just meant
Oh, hold on. We're going to cut that out.
I swear to goodness.
But what actually happened was,
And it popped over here.
it was just over and gone.
Yeah, it just wasn't.
It wasn't even covered up. It was just somewhere entirely new.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Now that you said that, I guess that. So not only
It worked too well, but that wasn't the end of it though.
Well, that messes me up as well. Because there's two different completely validated sources of creating a gravitational field, how it affects time, light, all of that. So yes, you can travel faster. You have essentially have like a force field around you.
Yeah.
You like all that science, that sci-fi stuff is real at that point. But now we have with the Philadelphia experiment. Now essentially they just proved the dimensional theory that we were just talking about.
Grand unified field theory.
Yeah. So now I don't know what to believe. That's why I like being a human being and thinking very, very simple. Because that shit, I can't follow it.
No, it should turn it invisible.
I don't think we're meant to follow it is the thing. Like, honestly, like if I was thinking, this is going to sound bad, but this I'm going to say it. If I was God and like I knew everything, and I don't know if I'd give us that ability. That makes sense? Or like I wouldn't even share it. I wouldn't even let us find it. So I'm just confused. Like, okay, so Albert Einstein stumbled upon these equations. He
didn't stumble upon it. He had autism, and everybody with autism has their one thing. Right. He was on the spectrum, so his one thing. I
just don't know if we're meant to have that. I don't know if we're meant to know or meant to find out. And I don't know, but I'm cool with not knowing. I'm cool with living my life, dying at the end of it, having all the simple stuff I want, raising my kiddo. Yeah, I don't think.
No. I refuse to accept that. See, I'm kind of the type that, not to cut you off, bro.
You're good. I was done.
I'm the type to, I want to know why. If you have an open box in front of me, right? I don't care. I'm not going to look in it. Why would I? You close that box, I'm getting in there. I'm going to see what's up. Right. I've always been the kind that I have to know. Telling me, forget about it. I don't accept that. I have to know. Not knowing things pisses me off and it bothers me. And I will obsess over things I do not know.
Right. Well, I guess that's where we're different.
I refuse to accept that the world is just ordinary. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I refuse to accept that we're just born here to pay bills, pay taxes, be a cog in the machine, and then die. I refuse to accept that.
Yeah. No,
There's got to be some more to it. Somebody out there has to have time travel because otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like any human being, even, and I just said I don't really care, but if I had the ability, if someone walked into my apartment right now, and they were running from somebody, and they were like, "Oh my gosh," and they told me I'm a time traveler, it's out there, they're after me, I need your help, I'd be like, okay, let's see what this is about. I'm not saying I wouldn't go be curious.
Exactly.
But I also am happy to go, this is also beyond my capacity. I don't think I'm meant to know this. You know what I mean?
I was a corrections officer for 5 years. I've brought that up a couple times. I worked at a prison, so I would check his pupils. All right, I would see if he was high, see if he was on something. I'd probably give him a field sobriety test if that was in my.
Well, I imagine
ability.
he'd have like this fancy.
I would call the
watch.
Police. Oh, you think he'd do that?
Some cool tech, and I'd be like, whoa.
No, why would he need cool tech?
Yeah,
they did it with a boat. I don't think time travel. If they had a machine to create a field, I doubt it would be an app on a phone.
A guy with, like a guy with a boat just like drops through into the parking lot. Like, what the? Where?
USS Eldridge lands on the apartment, lands on the studio.
Obviously, that was from the
Perfect
sea
timing.
madness we were talking about.
No way it happened. Yeah, 200 miles on sea. That's what, like a 2-hour trip by boat?
I have no idea. I've never been on a boat.
I don't know, but no way, no.
I don't know. But either way, like...
I would call the police, ask them to prove it while I was waiting.
It's just so finicky. Because...
Yeah.
Like... And again, this is how I think it's going to go. I think the more we progress as a human being, as a human society, like, as we move forward...
Yeah.
We'll know more. We'll gather more information. But there's a difference between gathering information and being able to actually do it. Mm-hmm. Like, an example is like, and we don't have to go on a tangent for this, but like the perfect example is that we live in 3D world. This is all three-dimensional. But a 4D world does exist. Like a 4D realm. That's proven. It's called a, what's the thing in the Avengers? The cube. Shit. Tesseract. Boom. The 4D shape is called the Tesseract. Now, when you look at it, it's essentially a cube inside another cube, but...
That thing that everybody draws on a desk?
Say what?
The thing that everybody draws on a desk?
Well, like, yeah, so it's like a cube, and then inside's a smaller cube.
You've seen it vandalized. If you haven't, go use a public restroom.
But that's not what it looks like.
No.
Like the highest we can go is 3D. We can't see it. We can't experience it. We don't know what it actually could look like. And if we could, we wouldn't understand it because we're not a 4D being.
We can't see in other dimensions now.
Bingo, bango. So it exists, but we're never going to experience it. That's what I'm trying to get at. We can gather information, but maybe we're not meant to experience that. So I don't know if it's alien, if it's us from the future because we've genetically engineered something else to make us not human. Like they're
doing with Cyborg art right now?
Like with us, like human beings right now,
yeah,
we're probably not meant to experience any of that. I don't know what the future looks like in case of...
No, I'm saying there's a group of artists out there. They're called cyborg artists, and they're calling themselves their own race. They're no longer human.
What?
Yeah, there's that guy with the antenna in his brain. What's his name? Look it up real quick.
Antenna in his brain?
He has an antenna coming out of his head. He claims to be the first cyborg out there. He was born colorblind, had this giant antenna coming up out of his head. Not like a bug antenna, obviously, some kind of radio receiver, something like that.
Antenna and head guy. Oh, cyborg Neil Harbison.
Neil Harbison, yeah. They're claiming that there's what is it? What do they call that? It's not transcendentalism, but there's a group of people out there right now in the art community, and they're trying to use mechanical, and cyborg technology to advance themselves past the human race, to further evolution.
Oh,
they believe that is the next step. He's not the only one to have done it.
Well, no, he was, like you said, he's colorblind, right? But he's an artist, so he hears the color through the vibration. So you're still limited. Like you still can't.
Look up what he's done lately.
He
now has a
he can receive telephone calls and satellite images in his head.
And direct thought messages from his best friend and wife.
What in the...
He's not the only one to have done this either.
Well,
There's a guy who put a chip in his arm. They call him Mr. Cyborg or Mr. I don't know what they call him. And he could do this and his TV would turn on and stuff like that. There's a group of people, there's a movement, it's a Wikipedia page and everything, of people that believe in evolving humans past that point.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm never going to be that person.
God, no.
Now...
But if time travel existed, you wouldn't tell anybody, right?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't say shit.
Well, because that could be highly, highly manipulable. Very evil. You could do a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah. But you know what I'd do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you had time travel, what would you do? Let's start off with that.
Me?
Yeah.
I probably would do what I said. I would probably just sit back and watch. I know, because I understand that me as a person living, if I had time travel, in the moment I'm supposed to live, it's where I'm supposed to be. But I wouldn't mind watching things firsthand in history or in the future. I wouldn't interfere.
Yeah.
Because that's not my job to interfere.
No.
But I would definitely watch.
You're what do they call it? What's that term I'm thinking of? Unconscientious objector.
Yeah, there you go.
You just suspect you're a fly on the wall.
I'd be a fly on the wall.
Okay. I would. But you know me, I'd probably
No, you wouldn't. Dude, I've seen you. You would. If there was anything happening, like I imagine
I've got a list.
You can't not get involved when it comes to someone like you have a big heart. So if someone's being hurt or something's happening to somebody, you will get involved. I know you. It happened to a stranger at multiple bars we've been at. Drunk idiots get drunk and you go over.
The guy that ran through my mom's yard that I clotheslined?
Yeah, like it's the safety of someone you love or something like that. You'd have you may be in your mind a conscientious objector, but you'd be like, what's going on down there? And it wouldn't be good. But
I would
and that's still with good intentions, but you weren't meant to make that decision.
First thing on the list. Punch Hitler in the face. Then blip back out of time. Never happened, right?
He'd be like, I'm a Jew, punch you in the face. Then
yeah, really. This one's for you, grandfather Machair, great-grandfather Machair, you know?
Well, and that's the thing that Elon Musk is trying to do.
Thing number 2.
Oh, go ahead.
I would punch Bin Laden in the face. But I wouldn't blip out of time.
You'd be like...
I would continuously punch him in the face.
I meant to be here. But that's
Thing
what
number
Elon Musk
3.
is trying. You have more than one thing?
Oh, dude. Thing number
okay.
3.
We don't have time.
I'll stop at 3.
Okay.
It's a 2-parter. I would sign Gently Buzzed on the Declaration of Independence. And I would do Biff. I would get a sports almanac from the future.
You'd be rich.
I would have Biff World, I'd have Wayne's World, so to speak. I would be a millionaire. We would have a show, a podcast. If I was a millionaire, I would have a podcast. If I could time travel, I would definitely have a podcast. I'd probably call it Gently Buzzed or something, I'd co-host with my best friend, get a sponsor like Woody's, and
Oh, I saw what you did there. This concludes.
What dimension are we from?
I told you we messed up. No.
We got to go back.
Well, and so I like how you brought up that movement because that's what Elon Musk is trying to do with his chip.
What is the name of it?
Here, catch this. I need both
Transhuman.
Let me look it up. Elon Musk
Future
head
something?
chip. Like I said, Neuralink. It's called.
There's
No, that's
yeah.
what Elon Musk is doing. It's let's see, August 29th, 2020. That's one. But it says Elon Musk unveils brain chip. This is the quote. It's like a Fitbit, but in your skull. That's the tag for the. It's like a Fitbit, but for your skull. You're like, all right, didn't know I needed that, but cool.
Can't people just be cool being fat, man? I don't want some popping up my head with notifications. Bing, bing, bing.
Well, dude, that's the thing.
I don't care how many steps I take.
Well, everything. So every you have Blade Runner, there's that show. If you haven't seen it,
The vampire thing?
No. It's where they're in the
with
future.
Wesley Snipes.
It's no. That's Blade.
Blade Runner. Okay.
Yeah, Blade Runner the original had Harrison Ford, and they had copies of these robotic beings. I watched the new one that came out. I'm not really familiar with what it is, but the future doesn't look that bright in all these movies from the future. You have really tall buildings, you're overpopulated and crowded. Yes, you have flying cars, and you have cool tech like virtual sex, all this stuff. So none of it's technically real.
I could see that being real by 2030.
Yeah, they have VR. It's already there. I'm pretty sure there's places in Japan where you can walk in and they have a machine you just attach your belt, and then it does your job for you. For men, at least, it does your job for you. You have headphones and the glasses, and I think you have hands for feelers, and you manipulate the image.
But with a brain chip, that'd be like
you could legit trick your brain to think it's actually happening, and where that gets dangerous.
If it's in your nervous system, you could literally feel it though.
Yeah. And you can attach it with tiny wire. Your body, we produce electricity naturally. How do you think your brain works? Small electrical impulses.
Our grandkids are going to ask us, wow, you guys are so old. Your guys are organic. Organic? You mean I'm just a regular person?
Well, that's the thing.
You don't have any mods.
That's the thing. This is the dream. Me, Madden, I raise him on a farm. He likes the idea. I keep the land forever because overpopulation's a real thing.
Damn straight. Until the government uses them in a domain.
Yeah. So, and then I'm like, okay, sweet.
Yeah,
I'm fucked anyways.
Give me $1 million.
But either way, that's the whole goal. And that was another thing it just came up naturally. Way to go. But it was that, now in society, we're taught, luxury stuff, luxury lifestyle, all of this stuff, it'll make you happy. It doesn't make you happy.
No.
You just have more money to blow on stupid shit that you need to buy for someone else.
Yeah.
We'll keep it I'll keep it simple as that. I don't want to bum you out, but fuck that lifestyle. It's a joke.
Henry David Thoreau said it best, man. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity.
Well,
he's my favorite philosopher, but the more shit you have, the more shit you have. It doesn't make it easier.
No.
He gave up everything. He made great money, very intelligent guy. He's going on this train. He's like, I could have everything I want, I got the Woody sunglasses. I got the funny socks. He's like, but what can I do from here? And he's on a train. He's like, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Gets off the train, lives out in the woods, goes to Walden Pond.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah. Lives there the rest of his life.
For example, for me, what propels this show, right? What keeps us doing it is the idea of that real change. making real change. Talking, we have opinions. We can talk almost instantaneously. We can talk instantaneously. I can text you right now and you're going to get it. I can talk to you immediately. Okay? We can talk instantaneously. We can spread information instantaneously. So there's real change. And the end goal is being a big enough platform where we can make real change, right? Not just get, I love Joe Rogan, but not just get fucked up, have conversations. That's all fun and games like this is. But learning, that's only going to drive you every day to keep learning, right?
Exactly.
I think, what was a quote that says, the worst thing, it was for men, because I'm a man, so everything I look up is for me. But it was saying the worst thing that can happen to a man is to be stagnant.
We have beards, jobs, and vote. We're men.
To not do anything. And then I was watching another talk, Mr. Money Mustache, got you, on YouTube. He was doing a speech, and he had enough money just to retire early, like 32. You know, like the dividends I was talking about, get paid.
Yeah.
He made less money than he made, had all the free time, but he goes, and yet I found myself constantly working more. But I wasn't working because I enjoyed doing it. I was helping other people. He goes, that's where we get so fucked up. You put money in the middle, but you have to discern between your purpose and your happiness and where the money is. And just take it out of the middle. That doesn't fucking matter. But what I was getting at is everything, when it's simple, you have everything. Like, what do I need? I need food, water. I need
mac and cheese.
I need a place to live, stability.
Shelter.
I need electricity, and
podcast,
gas,
Wi-Fi, probably.
Well, like all of that, that's all run like this. Like break it, like legit break it down to your
go
basic
caveman
needs.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I basically need, right? That's legit as simple as you could get, and I could be completely content and happy because, like you said, the more shit you have, the more shit you have. It doesn't help anything.
Nope.
So it's just like, I think once people understand that, and also if you just focus,
transport in there.
If you just focus on money, if it was just money, we would have given up on this a long time ago. But to be honest, where I was going with that was it does scare me when the podcast gets to a point where money shows up, because I'm not saying I'm gonna go crazy with it. I'll probably just fucking put it away and go Madden, pass this down, but teach them how to be simple. Like that's like I don't know what else I would do with it. Like I don't need I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot of money to make me happy. What I do need is those simple needs and to raise a family. That's simple. That's also where I think I don't really care about time travel in a sense that way than just being a fly on the wall, because I know I have everything I need back where I'm from.
Dude, I know exactly what I'm doing.
What?
See, I come from a different perspective. I never had money, okay? Ever. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy back the childhood farm. I'm going to buy that back. We lost it recently, and I missed that place. It's a beautiful farm. I'm buying that back. Money will be no object.
Heck yeah.
And buy the farm back. Thing two, buy my mom's a house.
There you go.
My grandmother raised me. Shout out to you, Deanne Peters. Love you. She raised me. I'd buy her a house. Take care of my little brother, Rooster. He's 9. Happy late birthday, bro. You're the best.
Right.
Yeah, I would do that. Then I think, because I've never had money, I wouldn't know what to do with it. Then I would start very poor investing. I'm talking like purple llama that are exotic. Purple exotic llama farm.
I have a story for you.
I'm saying like chocolate milk jacuzzi. Like I would just buy the most random.
You don't mean like investments, like stock investment. You mean like
no? I would just buy the most crazy,
stupid
stuff. I'm saying my living room would be a bouncy house. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, I get you.
I wouldn't have a mansion. I'd have my old farmhouse.
Now, correction. That would be me too. I do stupid shit.
Exactly.
But that would only get me so far.
I just want to see what it's like to have a living room for a bouncy house, a chocolate milk jacuzzi. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
That's what I would do.
Well, you want to hear about a poor investment? So I was talking about it in a video a couple months ago on a channel I tried to start, and not the one you saw, but it was talking about that company Nikola. It was a electric car company that had like hydrogen fuel cell tech.
We brought that up in an episode, I do believe, recently.
Yep. Well, it went in one day. It went from $32 when it hit the market to like $80 in one day. and it tanked, and it keeps tanking. And the story behind it is fucking nuts. This guy lost everything. He had money, lost it all twice. Then was able to like get it back and earned it and made this company. I'm surprised he's still out walking and not fucking in jail. He did more than the Wolf of Wall Street did. Like, so they did a showing to like show investors, which is you can't lead investors on. That's a crime. He did a showing, like a video or something, demonstration. And what they did is before the demonstration, they took this hydrogen fuel cell tech that they have, which they don't have. They lied. They don't have it. It doesn't exist. They were like, we need money to make an infrastructure for cheap hydrogen, and then we'll be up and going. They don't have the tech for it. They made it up. This company...
You're telling me that they don't have hydrogen-powered technology right now?
Their tech, they don't have one.
They did.
Well, no.
Steam power was a thing.
It exists. That company didn't have it. They didn't make it.
So we could still invent that.
The hood of the car was fake. They took the car. It was like a big semi-truck. It said, we'll go double the miles as Tesla. We'll do this. He was able to trick investors. He put it on top of a hill and let it just roll down with someone in the car who was using the brakes. It didn't work. That was the first thing. To show the electricity inside the car, they had a showing. They put it on a big stage. Well, come to find out, they had a big fat electrical cable plugged underneath the car. The car batteries didn't work for the car. Like the batteries, their tech was bogus. They lied to create a $1 billion company.
No kidding. And
the dude who made this thing looks like this regular like nerdy chubby guy. I don't know what his name is. I don't remember. But he set it up. So now, regardless of what happens, because of his investments of the stock that he sold that he owned the company, he's guaranteed $30 million for the next 10 years. Even if the company flops.
You know what?
Because he sold all his shares of stock. And there was like it's a 200-page full report done by the Heisenberg Research Foundation. You can Google it. It says exactly that. How they amped up the numbers, completely lied, and it was just insane. But I think he got away with it because he got bailed out by GM. GM bought it, said, we have tech we can put in your car. He goes, yeah, he didn't do it. Probably because he was going fucking under. But, I mean, who would, like...
I don't know.
That's what I think about bad investment. I think you meant just, like,
bad
blow money to
would be
blow
the
money.
Name. I think the name Nikola. And there's so many better options out there for hydrogen-powered vehicles. I was thinking off the top of my head, Steamworks. Like DreamWorks.
Steamworks.
Steamworks. It works. It's steam. What more do you want? But the fact that Tesla, going back to that, has a chip in your head.
Yeah.
It's not an original thought.
No.
It's not. Look, and Dr. John von Neumann attempted to link computers with the human mind, trying to create cyborgs and a time vortex, trying to evolve humanity past that point, which is what the artists are doing.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to do.
No, it's not going to go well for us,
This is the Montauk experiment, right? That's what they were doing. That was the goal.
Yeah.
Preston Nichols, he has several degrees, one in parapsychology, one in psychology, and one in electrical engineering. Recovered from having repressed memories after the involvement of that experiment.
Oh.
He comes out and he writes a book. And people are like, well, why would the government do all that? Why would the government attempt to time travel? Why would they do experiments on people? Why? They've never done anything like that.
Why wouldn't they?
They have.
Why would they not?
You ever heard of MK Ultra?
I have.
You ever heard of the Manhattan Project? You ever heard of the Cold War? Our government is amazing. I'm patriotic to the end. But I'm saying that it is not within the realm of impossibility that they would go to such lengths as they should if there is threat.
Yeah.
My beef is that they didn't. They went through those lengths.
To do
my
that.
beef is that it ain't public knowledge.
Yeah.
But he goes out and writes about it. Preston Nichols, after he recovers, about how the government tried to experiment with telepathy, time travel, and teleportation, and parallel dimension travel. With this, Dr. John von Neumann attempted to link the humans with computers. Met twice with Preston Nichols. And it's a fact proven by Duncan Cameron.
Oh.
And the rest of it is on my phone because we started the episode and I didn't have a chance to finish.
You got it okay.
Hold, please.
But that's the thing. I don't think we're supposed to go that way. I don't think we're supposed to do that. Oh, that was a...
Would I do it? No. Would I talk about it and watch other people doing it?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I definitely just want to see it happen. You know what I mean?
There's a show that you need to watch if you like that shit. It's called Altered Carbon, I think. Alternate Carbon. No, Altered Carbon. Okay? And the name's cheesy. But what it is it's in the future. Doesn't tell you what day, I don't think, what year. But the richest person alive, basically a Rothschild person, okay? You live forever. Because at the age of 1, when you're 1 year old, where your discs are on your neck, right here, they put a little disc, and it's like a little CD-ROM, and that holds your consciousness, and you put it in there, and it's simultaneously uploaded, and then can be transferred to bodies.
You know who the first people to do that was?
Who?
Nazis. Nazis tried this stuff. They did.
Well, here, and so what happens is, so they do that.
Yeah.
And then this guy is like a Rothschild. He has a ton of money, everything in the world, influence everywhere, right? Now, he has this thing where you can basically upload your consciousness to a private server you can own, so you don't have to go buy it from like the government or wherever they get it from. You have it in your satellite via above the earth or whatever, because you're that rich in this society.
Yeah.
Now, he gets killed. His head gets blown off, and he loses the chip. So the chip that he was put in there, he couldn't recover, but he had his backup. But your backup does it every like 48 hours or something. So the person killed him in the gap. So he can't see the killer. He doesn't know what happened.
Whoa.
And so he hires this guy who's like they call him a terrorist because he goes in and like breaks up regimes, does shit like that. Yeah. So they call him a terrorist because he has no limits. I'm here to do what's right, and like, that's all I'm here to do. Is he a good guy? No. From what I watched in episode 1, he's not a good guy. But he doesn't let things stop him and put him in doing his job. Now, he gets hired by this guy, and he goes, how long have I been under? He goes, you've been in, like, on ice, they call it, where your body isn't attached to your consciousness. He goes, you've been on ice for 250 years. I'm like, 250 years you were on ice. But he didn't know because it's like that, because the whole time thing we're talking about. Yeah. And that's where it would go. You'd be like, okay, I have uber wealth. I'm going to live forever. But then there's no point. That's what makes life so important. Living for the moment. If you have unlimited moments, why even be here?
Yeah, damn.
So that's why I don't like that.
That's taking it too far.
That's why I don't like that stupid consciousness to transfer into a computer.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you Google John Von, VON, space NEUMANN. That's the doctor.
John Von
Neumann. NEUMANN. John Von Neumann.
Here we go.
Attempted
mathematician
to connect computer technology with sophisticated radio equipment so he could link people's minds with computers. He was successful in having human thoughts received by historic crystal radio receivers. And not only that, but he relayed the information onto a computer that stored thoughts as bits of information.
No, I'm out.
These bits of information could then be displayed on the computer screen and printed out on paper, creating a virtual mind-reading machine.
Dude, he died in 1957.
Damn straight.
That's the thing.
He got books he recovered from Nazi Germany.
Well, what the hell happened? Like, what? So, if, like...
That was they were trying to create time travel, telepathy. His goal was to create a time vortex.
Something happened in that 50-year span.
His only motive, hear me out, was to do a time vortex and have perfect cyborg people in case of the Cold War. I believe... We were at war with Russia and Cuba. They're like, we're going to kill you. Yeah. And then we're like, no, you're not. We're going to kill you first. Who's going to blow? Imagine they have a bomb, we have a bomb. Each one blows up the world, okay?
No. What happens is like, one person launches a bomb. America launches a bomb. They both launch bombs. Everyone else goes, we're launching nukes. Then the whole world launches nukes at the same time, blows us all to bits.
That's
Nuclear
what they were
war.
trying to avoid. That's what the Cold War is about. That's why they have fallout shelters and basements in the 50s and stuff like that. Because of stuff like this, these guys were preparing for that. In the private sector, they did not heed the Congress's order to disband the project and seduce the military into using the technology in warfare to control enemy minds. Same reason the government within MKUltra, which has been released, it's no longer a theory.
Everyone knows it's a thing. I think it was just under
It's
so
a
much
real
pressure.
thing.
They were like, okay, I guess we
Where
admit it's real.
Where they took random homeless people, injected them with LSD, and put them in
Yep.
isolation chambers.
You know
That way
exactly.
they could, astral project, read thoughts, all this other stuff. This
I
is
have a
before that.
Is that Charles Manson?
Who what? Who did that?
MK Ultra? Was he one of the guys?
I'm not sure. I never looked into that.
Yeah, keep going. But I have a list. There's a book on my Amazon book list. If you give me one second.
This air station housed at SAGE, SAGE, all capitals radar, which I'm assuming is abbreviation for something.
Here it is. It's called the book, which I found from some other podcast. It's called Chaos. Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 60s. It was published June 23rd, 2020. Very, very new. 1,500 ratings, 4.5 stars. Yes, sirrini.
All right. Well, he decided to, John von Neumann is at a derelict Air Force base in Montauk Point, New York, which was a very small place in New York City, or in New York. It's not even big enough to be a town.
Oh, why is that turning on?
I don't know.
It's fully charged.
But the air station houses stage radar antenna that emits 400 to 425 megahertz of frequency, which is the same band of frequency needed to enter the consciousness of the human mind.
Oh, I'm a liar.
By 1972, the Montauk Project was fully underway with massive mind control experiments being done on humans, animals, and other forms of consciousness. They continue to develop psychic abilities using hardware to amplify their thoughts, thereby manifesting illusions both subjectively and objectively.
Also, just to butt in, I lied. I think there's bits of, because it says the 60s, there's bits of some of that MK Ultra and shit like that in there.
Yeah.
But the majority of that book is Charles Manson was that cult leader. Wrong dude. He's that cult leader who had the Manson family, did a bunch of murders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he was a part of it, though. I could see that. I could see him being a product of it.
We're just, I'm a fly on the wall, okay?
We're normal dudes.
But yeah, I heard that book, and I put it in my book list because it had a bunch of that MK Ultra. It was the 60s.
What does MK Ultra even stand for? What if it's like the son of the Montauk Project?
Don't look at me, dude.
I'm looking at you.
I'm looking at you.
Yeah. What if it didn't stop there? It didn't stop until 1972. What year did they do the MK Ultra project? Can you look that up?
Yep. Got you. MK Ultra years active. What? Oh, not the band. It said 1993. I'm like, that's wrong. MK Ultra experiment. Years active. Project MK Ultra. CIA mind control. The Addams Family. Let's see. It was officially sanctioned in 1953, and then halted 1973. So 20 years.
1970. It started in what?
It started 1953.
Okay.
And then ended in 1973.
Okay, so what has happened after the Montauk Project did the Philadelphia experiment with the...
Yep. Because that was in the late 40s, like after World War II.
And then in 1972 is when they kind of stopped with the Montauk Project.
Okay.
So it definitely became the predecessor. Dr. John von Neumann is a real person. In the 40s. He was a physicist. He was a...
Addams Family.
Major contributions to representation theory, algebra, geometry, topology. I don't know what that is. Computing, architecture, linear programming, and statistics. Operator theory. Wrote a book called The Computer and the Brain. His analysis of the structure of self-replication. Proceeded to the discoverable structure of DNA. So this guy actually did it. This is no longer conjecture. He did it. Wow.
But like you can't like it's even if you had all the money in the world, you still can't transfer consciousness yet. You can just like I said, you can't put it into action because maybe we're not meant to, but we do have the information. Like we're 3D people, we can't experience 4D realities.
He mastered several fields to where people said that he had evolved past the point of being a man. He was superior to man, a new species.
What?
Yeah, whose gears were machined to mesh accurately to 1,000th of an inch. This is on Wikipedia. For those of you who don't believe us, look it up on Wikipedia. John von Neumann.
Good gracious, man.
Keeping up with him was impossible. The feeling was you were on a tricycle chasing a racing car, is what another guy said.
So he used it to be smarter, think faster, or he was just that smart?
He was that smart. But what was he trying to do? He was trying to put computers in people's minds.
You know, he reminds me
using
of
the two in order to think quicker, think better, become all you could be. But he mastered all these different fields: mathematics, engineering, computing, coding, physics, topography, which I don't know what that is. I believe is that oil? Topography?
No, I don't think. Did you watch topology? Right, topology.
Everybody.
It's mathematics, study of geometric properties, and spatial relations. Now, did you ever watch Captain America: The Winter Soldier?
Yes, I did.
Remember that little German guy with the glasses who put himself on those crappy computers and those data banks?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, that's what that dude sounds like.
Definitely.
He sounds just like that guy.
But for him to do that.
He sounds like this with the German. That's horrible.
With the hunks and the hikes.
He sounds like that guy.
The hunks and the hikes. But he's over there trying to put computers in people's heads. Next thing you know, bam, child support. Dude's the smartest person able to outthink and learn anything. Gee, how'd he get there? I don't know.
Don't ask me, but I'm not putting my brain in a computer. If anything, I know computers crash.
There we go. Yeah.
What, did he do it?
He did.
See, I don't want to be there for that.
He also worked with Tesla.
He said he was born in 1903.
When was Tesla born?
I guess I have the computer.
Oh, wow.
Hey, you step on my foot.
Oh, man. 1856 to 1943. They would have definitely been around the same time.
Holy shit. Yep. Wait. Nikola Tesla was born in 1856.
Hold on.
Yep. That is what the Google says.
He died in 1943.
Wow. He was older than I thought. I thought for sure he was murdered or killed or I don't know, had a pillow over his face. But no, he lived a long life.
Tesla referred to him as a prototype mad scientist. His main objective, according to Tesla, was to give mankind the opportunity to become God, which I could definitely see reading his story.
I don't like it.
They were... Okay, this is crazy. They were both trying to... This is from Tesla, by the way. When he was 81, Tesla claimed he had given a dynamic theory of gravity. With his theory, he could create anti-gravity. Claims of Tesla about new weapons, invisibility, anti-gravity, and even time travel.
What happens when you manipulate that? You get all those things.
Damn straight. Attracted the U.S. Army. Where was
Of course it did.
John von Neumann believed he could calculate anything. He believed that he could create an artificial mind. When he could connect this artificial mind to the force of creation, he could create completely new things, which is now what people are doing with Cyborg Art. They're trying to do that here.
Dude, they could make Cyborg from DC Comics.
They
probably could. They probably
made him in the freaking 80s.
He's probably buried in the basement of a CIA underground bunker. He's just like, hey, when am I gonna
Tesla
get
knew
out of
that
here?
The mental state of the bodies of the crew would be affected severely. He wanted more time to perfect the experiment. Von Neumann disagreed, and the experiment was performed with a crew on board. Tesla left the project.
Yeah,
so Tesla and von Neumann worked on the USS Eldridge.
We're breaking boundaries here.
You had all three of these people. You had a mad scientist. You had Einstein, the clumsy, lovable, goofy Einstein.
Aim that back towards your face.
And you had John von Neumann, the world's first
Dude,
the world's
first
first
computer.
mad scientist.
That's the thing.
All working with the military to create an invisible boat.
You love Indiana Jones.
I love Indiana Jones.
Now the movie
It
was
belongs in a museum.
Now the movie was shit, but actually it wasn't even that one. It was the first one too. Remember when they recover the artifact,
Which one?
the crystal skull?
That one was a good movie. I stand by that.
I like it, but it was shit compared to the other ones.
I thought it was still pretty good.
I watch it, but I watched the other ones before that one. We're getting sidetracked, but they both have that. There's a secret base that the CIA has that's heavily guarded, and it has boxes of just these artifacts and warehouses
Area
and shit.
51.
I guarantee you, there is just a regular ass office somewhere in America with all of Tesla's work, all of Newman's work, all the shit they just have this stockpile of information.
Well, we've already established, for those of you still following, that Donald Trump's great-grandfather was paid by the government after they seized the products of Tesla.
Yep.
Was told to take them apart, put them together, figure it out. That's
Yeah.
what he was told.
I'm just saying,
So they have them somewhere. This is real stuff. They have them.
Now, no, we're going to go with it. We're going to go down the rabbit hole.
We're going to roll with it.
But let's just say they figured out they can put our consciousness into a device and then we live forever. Okay? This is the only way that'd be possible. Like, how do I put it? The only way it would be allowed would be if the entire planet was like together. Right? If one country had it, we're not going to just hold it. They're going to, you know what I mean? It's going to start war. You know what I mean? So that's why that's a big thing with like UFO research with Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
He goes, if someone else catches a whiff that we're doing this, and then the information gets out, and then they're doing it, whoever gets this dominates the world. So I don't think we're going to get any farther than being basically apes, unless Elon Musk puts a chip in my head and we're all together in unity. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see
I
it
want to
going
be together with everybody in the world.
well, I know, but like, I feel like that'd be the only way all of that high tech stuff would ever work. Is that if everybody agreed to it. I mean, granted, we do have cell phones, we do have shit like that, and everyone has one, and they made it fancy, so we wanted to buy it. But I just think, like, that's why I think a big thing is, the one world order, that like unity, and then I'm not advocating for it. It's bad news. I'm just saying the only way you're going to get any of that stuff to be like exposed out in the open and like actively researched and worked on without all the secrecy bullshit is if everybody agrees on it. We all need this. We all are going to come together. We're all going to do it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think the farther you follow that trail, I'm just glad to be on this end of it, because 200 years down the line, I don't want to fucking be here. I don't want to be here for that. I don't want to be like, well, I could. That'd be the shittiest thing ever. Imagine all of us in America, go with me, we all have the Neuralink. We're all we don't do anything, and we have used these chips to trick our mind that, I don't know, maybe I met this person, but in my mind, this chip tells me they look like this.
Beating people, for the record. Quick shout out. Chase is single. Hit him up, ladies. If you watch the podcast and you are...
That's right. You're
attractive and clean and intelligent and
you
funny.
You must be a genius, funny person, because that's who I am. Booyah. Just kidding.
Boom.
But...
you could have the chance to date Chase Mercer.
That's right.
Now, comment in this... if you're watching this video and you happen to be a female who is also single, interested in freckled guys...
how is this relevant?
Like Chase Mercer. It's relevant, trust me. Comment in there. Put a comment in there. I'm here, Chase. I'm right here. That way we can know you. Because I'm bringing this up because how cool of a love story would that be for you to tell your kids?
Oh, I met her on a comment on my video.
I started a podcast with my best friend. Okay.
And then
He brought up one time casually that I was single. All these crazy people just started, and then out of the blue, I'm here, Chase. I'm here.
I'm like, whoa.
And we're getting serious views now. I think we could actually pull that off.
It might happen.
It
Who
could
knows?
happen. Yeah, the love of your life could be watching this. Gently buzzed
Pleasure
romance.
Pleasure to meet you. Happy Chase.
There will be a screening afterwards. We're talking drug screening, field sobriety check earlier. We'll do a background check.
It's in the other room.
Mother's maiden name, social security card. We also need employment history.
Right.
Any family illnesses.
That's good. Yeah. All of that.
Religion. We need to know everything.
Imagine none of that matters anymore. Like the biggest thing about human beings is the connection. Like that connection, that depth, love, empathy, all the stuff that makes us human beings, our emotions. If you have if that chip's in my brain and you can attach parts to it, you could trick my brain to feel things. Why am I even here? I'm not experiencing it. Or if you can trick your eyes to see a different vision of your wife or husband, that's just I see that happening 200 years from now. I just see like what is it? Sin's the same, the tech just gets better. I'm like, no way. I would not make it in that world.
No. What happens when it's time to upgrade?
What's that?
Do they just perform open head surgery right there?
Well, you wouldn't even need. Remember,
they just do a craniotomy. They're just like, oh, we're gonna cut another part of his brain helmet.
Oh, it's the GoPro. I was like, are you beeping? You beeping at me?
We finally have GoPros, and by next episode, we should figure out how to use them.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna grab it when it was working and film you doing it, and then film me yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But I'll figure that out later. But even if we have one, because that angle's far away, I could put that one, just the one that works up close, and then switch angles. But anyway, that's where I'm at. So the start on time travel ended because all that is connected. Now we're on the advancement of human tech that ruins humanity, but we think it improves our life because they've tricked you, just like the luxury bullshit you're tricked into now.
Self-driving
that you're
cars,
gonna be,
where's the fun in that?
You're going to be better. Yeah, exactly.
I don't even trust an automatic transmission. You know what I mean? Much less a self-driving car. What's the point?
Well, I would love
Perfect to Uber one of those for alcohol.
Well, the good news is we don't have traffic. But if I in LA, they have horrible traffic. People just fucking fall asleep.
That's why you get a dirt bike.
And
all we got for the show? Anything you want to close with?
Nope, that's really it. Like I said, I'm just glad to be alive in this moment, living this simple life, having the simple stuff. Mm-hmm. And again, that wasn't my original thought, just like every other teenager. Every teen's like, I want to be rich or famous or have all this money and all this fancy stuff. And again, that's because you're, a teenager. But when I see grown adults still thinking that way, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
I feel bad for how much you're actually missing out on when you're keeping up with your neighbors for whatever reason. You feel whatever reason you feel obligated to. And that chip's not going to help, so don't fucking get it.
Unless you're using it to watch the podcast. So what do we call this one? America was recap. Okay, we'll do a recap.
I don't know.
America was funded by time travel.
Yep.
Okay, definitely.
Definitely.
The Navy loses a ship. Okay, kind of a recap. Einstein, mad German scientist, and Nikola Tesla team up to make a ship disappear.
And cyborg people.
They're all behind it. Cyborg art and cyborg people. Yep. Trying to advance humanity.
Real deal.
Chase is single. That's the recap.
That's the recap.
Thank you.
Anyway.
What more do you want?
And what more do you want from us? But yeah, again, check us out. Every week we have a new episode. We're on all the socials. We got all the socials. We got all the socials.
We're on Twitter.
We got all the socials. Okay, we got all the socials.
Twitter, YouTube, wherever you found us, there will be a link below telling you where to buy Woodies. See a boy right there wearing the Woodies, rocking them. We always rock Woody sunglasses.
That's right. Or
they
you can just
indestructible sunglasses. You need to buy them. Corey Stout's a hell of a guy. He'll write your name on them on the side. I buy a pair once every couple of years because they will not break.
Yep.
I have to lose them.
Yeah,
Last
badass
one was claimed by the
sunglasses.
lake when I was fishing.
And you'll need them. And you'll need these glasses if you want to time travel. So
You need woodies to travel. You need wooden sunglasses.
but
You do.
all right, I'm out. People, we appreciate you. Love you all. Also, keep commenting that stupid ass shit. Okay.
Yeah, keep hating. We have actual jobs.
That's right. Bye, people.